Hello everybody, welcome back to the video, and as you guys know, the the interlude teaser was dropped of Winter Nights of Lezo, which is once again tied to the Commedia Dell'Arte. If you have been paying any attention to the Commedia Dell'Arte, you'll know that each of the Harbingers are connected to stock characters from that play that has been going on throughout like 16th, 17th centuries. And knowing this would be the perfect time to, shall we say, explain why certain characters are the way they are and what to expect of them. And as they appear in the teaser, we will go over them, starting off, of course, with Pierro. Now, Pierro was a character who was initially seen as a fool. He was not seen as somebody who was smart, intelligent, any of that. He was seen as somebody who was a clown, a mime, a person who was naive, foolish, ignorant to the world, could never get Columbina's love, which is this girl right here, but we'll get to her next. Oh boy, will we get to her next. He was a person who was given many roles, if you will. Many roles. So if we go back to him, his look, this is not the traditional sense of Pierro that one would have in the Dell'Arte. He was seen, usually, for the most part, a fool. Until a certain actor decides to make him into something very different, and I do believe he is being made into this version of Pierro from the Dell'Arte. So, the most famous Pierro in history of theater, immortalized by Jean-Louis Barrault in Marcel Caron's From the Children's Paradise, adopting the stage, or Jean-Gaspard Daru. Okay, so there are two. The one we're looking at is Dubrau, if I said that name. Adopting the stage name Baptiste Dubrau from the year 1825, became the funambulous sole actor to play Pierro. In several types of comic pantomime, rustic, melodramatic, realistic, and fantastic, he was often the servant of the Heavenly Father, usually Cassander. In this case, he'll be the servant of the Tsaritsa. That's basically what I put on there. His mute acting compound placid grace and cunning malice. His style, according to Louise Precaude, I'm bad with French, forgive me. The chronicler of the Funambulist formed an enormous contract with the exuberance, the superabundance of gestures of leaps that his predecessors had employed. He altered the costume, freeing his long neck for comedic effect. He dispersed with a frilled collarette. He substituted a skull cap for a hat, thereby keeping his excessive face unshadowed, and he greatly increased the amplitude of both blouse and trousers. Most importantly, the character of his Pierro, greatly as it evolved gradually through the 1820s, eventually parted company almost completely with the crude Pierro's timid, sexless, lazy, greedy of the early pantomime. Okay, with him wrote the poet and journalist Théophile Gautier. After Dubrau's death, the role of Pierro was widened and enlarged. It ended by occupying the entire piece, and be it said with all the respect due to the memory of the most perfect actor who ever lived, by departing entirely from its origin and being denaturalized. Pierro, under the flower and blouse of the illustrious Bohemian, assumed airs of a master and a aplomb unsuited to his character. He gave kicks and no longer received them. Harlequin now scarcely dared brush his shoulders with the bat. Harlequin is otherwise known as Arlecchino. We will get to that as well later on in this video, but we are going in depth with all of the Fatui, so this video is going to be quite a heavy lore dump. Cassandra would think twice before boxing his ears. Dubrow seems to have a predilection for realistic pantomime, a predilection that, as will later become evident here, led to the calls for Pierro's expulsion from it. But the pantomime had the greatest appeal to his public was the pantomime aliquid feri, I don't know, sometimes in the English style, i.e. with a prologue in which the characters were transformed into commedia types. The action unfolded in fairyland, people with good and bad spirits who both advanced and impeded the plot, which was interlarded with comedically violent, often scurrilous mayhem. And in Bacchan pantomimes, that plot hinged upon Cassandra's pursuit of the Harlequin and Columbina. Otherwise, so basically Columbina, who we're going to be talking about, apparently named Columbine. Well, I suppose it would be Columbine or Columbina. But it was complicated. In Baptiste's interpretation by a clever and ambiguous Pierro. Baptiste Pierro was both a fool and no fool. He was Cassandra's valet, but no one's servant. He was an embodiment of comic contrast showing. Perturbable saying for Freud, again the words are Gautiers, artful foolishness and finesse, brazen and naive gluttony, blustering cowardice, skeptical cruelty, scornful servility, preoccupied insouciance, indolent activity, and all those surprising contrasts that must be expressed by the wink of an eye, by the plucking of a mouth, by the knitting of a brow, by a fleeting gesture. This is the version of Pierro we will likely be getting. Dubrow's interpretation of Pierro. We are getting the person who plays both. We're getting the person who plays both the fool and not the fool at the same time. The person who laughs at the world while also controlling his undeniable malice. A servant to the Tsaritsa while also not a servant to the Tsaritsa. We are going to be getting a person who is going to be able to switch back and forth. Like, this serious expression is probably not everything you can expect from Pierro. Pierro is a person who will essentially be the master over the situation. He is the one who sees the folly in the world. He is the one who is no longer going to take the kicks. He is the one who is going to lead into the new world. He is the one who will laugh and mock others who others do not dare stand against. And he is the person who essentially might be the closest to the Tsaritsa, being the first harbinger of the group. And he is also likely the most powerful. So, this is a person who plays the part of a fool, but is holding a lot of cunning and malice behind his act of a fool. And what that might look like in game is him not willing to be beaten down, but perhaps allowing certain foolishness to happen, or playing naive or innocent while actually knowing what's going on and like plotting his next revenge. That might be the character we will be getting with Pierro. And that has been it for the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What you think or predict that Pierro might be like based on the sources of the Commedia Dell'Arte, especially based on the, I guess you could say, the most famous actor who was to play as Pierro in the Commedia Dell'Arte. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you want to see more of these types of videos, I will be doing all of the Harbingers back to back to back to back until we get into another video, but I'll talk about that at the end. Do like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next video where we will be talking about Columbina. Until next time, bye-bye.